How's it going, fellow Antians? It's your main man, Vengeance here. By popular request, I'm going to make another Battlefields Explained. Recently voted as the most helpful guides that I'm making. So I said, hey, gotta make another one. So basically, a couple things I want to go over. First off, attacking in war. As you can see, um, obviously, I give my own alliance a lot more strategy than I put out in videos. Um, and we are constant performers every war, so it's got to be some good information in here. All right, so attacking. Let me go over attacking real quick. When you are attacking, you're looking for certain things like this. This guy particularly has two yellows stacked next to each other. That's a no-no. Something you don't want to do if you're deploying defense, but if you're making attacks, that's something you want to look for. For instance, this guy's on the Reward for Courage battlefield, so no healing goes through. He's got two healers. That's not a good choice. They're both side by side in yellow. Next to him, he's got Elmis, who cancels healing, but there's a bug in Reward for Courage, so once he stops the healing for 2 turns, all of your carriers can actually heal again in this battlefield. It's a broken thing that they have been needing to fix for a while. But anytime you see an Elmist on Reward for Courage, uh, go ahead and bring yourself a healer because it can make or break that team, really. So other things that you want to look for when I make attacks, I look for a power hero, like who is the best hero on that defense. Sometimes there's not elemental advantage, so we'll look at this guy here, for instance. There's no elemental advantage here because he's running a rainbow team, which is probably the best idea on defense is to run a rainbow team. It eliminates a lot of the extra advantages that you can have on defense. But from an offensive perspective, I would look at this team and I'd say, well, Mary's a threat because she's one of the few damage dealers, and Alia is a threat. Again, this is on Reward for Courage, so I'm not sure why there's 3 healers here, but there are. That's obviously a no-no in itself, so maybe because it's a rainbow team, it doesn't look like it has disadvantages, but if you can just focus on who you're going to go against and find the advantage in their defense before you deploy on attack, you should be pretty successful. So if this wasn't Reward for Courage, I'd be looking at Mary and I'd be looking at Alia as the main threats of the team. So I would stack colors against those. Maybe a 3-2 light and green team. Maybe not. Maybe I'd go with an all mono team or a faction team. But it's very important to identify the power character and at the very least attempt to remove that power character from the team because it'll ruin the synergy of that team and your teammates can pick that up if you can't pull through. So that's one thing that I always try to preach is it's a team game. So even if you don't make a successful attack, but you cripple that other team's synergy going forward, that's a win. All right, so looking at this guy's this alliance's roster, you can see there are lots of what I like to call advantages. There's double dark here, double green. That team's going to be susceptible to a yellow team, mono yellow team, or a red mono team. And you might say, well, what about the other characters? So, I am not too worried about other characters. If I can find the advantage, you can quickly jump out on that team and take out a few characters. And once you get on like a 5 character to 3 character fast break, you should be able to pull through, even if the middle of the board gets kind of lax for you, not producing what you wanted to. You still have such a good numbers advantage that you have plenty of health to distribute through 5 people, and they only have damage to take through 3. So it is a big deal. Attacking, this is a little side note here. Mono teams are kind of becoming the end game or the best possible attack teams. There's a couple essential things that you need to know about mono teams. So you might have the characters to pull it off. You might think you don't. But mono attacking is 5 times 250% damage to the weak element that's in that party. So stack against the element that they choose to have more than one of. And if available, and if not, I have to stress this is the most important thing to performing later in the game from now until the future. Get yourself Thorason's Energizing Whip and get yourself every Naya weapon, every 4 and 5-star Naya weapon available. If you have those two things, you are almost unstoppable because there's always going to be teams that you can pick out. I like to actually not focus on who has the most power and take those characters out. Now, for my alliance, it might be a little different. We have a lot of powerful people in our alliance, and everyone can handle their own. So I don't necessarily look for the strongest person out there to attack. I just try to make sure that I'm getting the most points per flag used as possible. So I may attack like a 40,000 team like this team here, even if it's only worth 129 points. I for sure can pick up the win here. Um, and that's the most important thing. I think sometimes people stress about hitting the most powerful person and getting the highest score possible. But the way that I personally look at it and the way that I coach about it is it's not about your overall points, it's about your points per flag used. So um, the higher the points per flag used is the best indicator of your performance. Whether that be you took on 6 teams that were slightly less than your power, yet you still managed to pull 650 points, that's a win. It's a points-based game. The important part is communicating to your teammates who is the strongest people on your team, who should take out what really tough targets, and make sure that you aren't wasting all of your best attacks at the beginning of the game or the beginning of war so that you can still have attacks for the next flip and the next flip. Because that's actually vitally important later on down the road as you get into legendary. You don't want to blow all of your best attacks right out of the gate. You kind of want to make sure that the best people are targeting the best people of the enemy team so that your alliance has a higher points per flag average. If you have a higher points per flag average, you're most likely going to win. If you have a higher point per flag average and you've used more attacks than your enemy, you're definitely going to win. Um, so focus more along those lines instead of I have to fight the strongest guy available. Um, that's where a lot of people go wrong on attacks. As far as defense goes, I'll continue to make Battlefield Explain videos on that. I've got 2 battlefields covered very well. I'm kind of putting together a strategy for the other 3 to give to you guys. They're a lot different than Rune Shield or War for Courage. Those are very specialized battlefields. The other battlefields, you can get away with a lot more. You can also uh, get away with making sure that you have the best people in Reward for Courage and Rune Shield, and then your other attacks, your other defenses aren't going to be as important in the other battlefields if they can't flip your Rune Shield and Reward for Courage. So I hope this video was slightly helpful for you. I hope you share this with your alliances and you guys become better players. We need some competition, so I'd love to have you guys step up your game and come challenge us. Give me a like and a subscribe if you've liked the content. I'll continue, like I said, making Battlefield Explains. They seem to be very popular. But until then, vengeance out.